John here for another quick vlog. Not really quick because it'll be kind of a lengthy video, but I just wanted to give you guys an update video on what's going on with my Evo VIII build, what I've been up to, and I'm here to answer some frequently asked questions I get on my channel a lot. So the first question I get asked a lot is it worth modding a Lancer Ralliart instead of saving up and buying an Evo X? And there's not really a straightforward answer to this question. It all depends on you as the person that owns or is modifying the car. Me personally, I don't think it's worth modding a Ralliart all that much, because if you're trying to chase Evo X numbers and Evo X handling, it's not going to happen. But if you're doing it to enjoy the hobby and enjoy the car, and you just want a little bit more extra power and potential, then yes, it's definitely worth modding it to an extent. It all depends on what you want out of the car and what all your preferences are. The Lancer Ralliart, in terms of handling, it will never feel like an Evo X. It will never handle as well as an Evo X. That's because the Ralliart is based on the Lancer GCS chassis, and we share suspension components from that car. If you get underneath an Evo X, it's a completely different suspension system, and it's much more complex, and it just has a lot of upgraded components that you probably wouldn't notice if you don't know much about cars. So the second part is the electronics. We have the all-wheel drive system and the ACD from the Evo IX, which is a great all-wheel drive system, don't get me wrong, but the Evo X does have the added super all-wheel control, and it does have active yaw control, which helps tremendously with managing oversteer and understeer, and it's just a whole nother realm when you get into that territory. If you're number chasing and you're okay with having stock Evo X numbers, the stock Ralliart Turbo can do that on pump gas pretty easily, like 240 wheel horsepower. Once you start getting to the bolt-on and tuned Evos in the mid-300s, it's not possible to keep up with the Evo X, just because the Evo X has such a bigger turbo from the factory that the small Ralliart Turbo can't keep up. Here you can see the size difference between the small single-scroll Ralliart Turbo on the left and the big twin-scroll Evo X Turbo on the right. The Ralliart Turbo is so small that you can fit a Dixie cup inside the compressor inlet. A lot of people also ask me, do I personally feel that, or regret that I dumped so much money into my Ralliart? And for me, that's two sides to the same coin, kind of. On one side, looking back on the whole car, I definitely regret it, because I was a little bit younger, a little bit more inexperienced. I just wanted horsepower and straight line performance. I kind of lost sight of what the car was supposed to be about in the first place. I was kind of number chasing at the time. I kind of wanted to compete with the big boy Evos. That turned out poorly. Since owning both an Evo VIII and a Ralliart, I would definitely choose the Evo VIII over the Ralliart. On the other side of the coin, when I was building the car, it made me super happy. I learned so much from the build in general. I learned what not to do and what to do, and what parts work with what, and like tuning. I've learned all this very, very powerful knowledge that now I can apply to my other cars, and I can share this information with the community, and I can help people out. So that's what I make these videos for. I'm here to help the community and answer any questions that you have. People always PM me and message me about the Cobb access port on the Ralliarts and the SST. So there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about what works and what doesn't. But one thing is definitely for sure about the Cobb access ports. When you have one and you download the off-the-shelf map, stage 1, 2, or 3 onto your car, it's adjusting the engine mapping. So it's adjusting everything from MIVEC tables to boost, to ignition timing, air-to-fuel ratios, just a plethora of things But the one thing it doesn't adjust is the SST. And the thing about the SST is it's pretty picky on what mods and how much power it can take from the factory. So you might experience slipping with the Cobb access port, and that's just simply because the SST tables remained untouched. They kill the SST. You need to adjust the SST tables for the new torque load that you are putting on those clutches. So that's the downfall of the Cobb access port. And from what I've heard from tuners and from talking to various tuners, the Cobb off-the-shelf maps run pretty lean, and they also run a lot of ignition timing for a generalized off-the-shelf tune. Now, for other platforms like Subarus, I've heard that they are better, but I would just stay far away from Cobb access ports in terms of the off-the-shelf tunes for this specific platform. I'm not saying they're junk altogether. I'm saying that Cobb has not tapped into the SST for the off-the-shelf maps, as far as I know. So that's another question I get asked frequently. How do I get over 300 horsepower on a Ralliart? And it's kind of hard to say. I mean, it depends on the dyno that you're on, but generally you'll need, for a dyno jet at least, you'll need E85 and fuel pump injectors, full bolt-ons, and then you have to have a really aggressive tune to get even close. On my E85 tune, I was making like 270 wheel horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. And that was at 27 pounds of boost, and by that time you have peak torque, and then it just kind of, the boost falls off and it just doesn't hold, and that's because of the size of the turbo. So a lot of people also ask me what I think of the Ralliart in general. Like, is it a good car? And compared to like the WRX, its main competitor right now. So the Ralliart has one of the more sophisticated transmissions on the market, the TCSST. It's a very expensive transmission, and it needs to be taken care of properly with fluid changes more often than the average transmission, etc., etc., and it's expensive. But from that SST, you get so much potential. Instantaneous shifts, you hold boost through shifts, which means faster acceleration. And just all of this stuff, and you can change the modes between normal, sport, and if you unlock it, Sport Plus. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that's extra on the Ralliart than you get in, say, a manual car like a WRX. Now, the downside to the Ralliart is there's not as much aftermarket support. A lot of people give misinformation, just like any platform on the internet. The SSTs don't hold that much power with stock clutches. You really need to upgrade those if you want to make over 350 pound-feet of torque. And the stock turbo is really small. The WRX has a little bit more in terms of stock equipment, better handling. I mean, it kind of balances out. I can't tell you which one is better, because it's just up in the air. I'll leave that to the professionals to tell you that. But from what I can see, if you want a better handling car, I'd go with the WRX. If you want a faster straight line car and canyon carver, I'd go with the Ralliart. It's really hard to say. If you have any questions you want me to do for the next video, just leave them below in the comments. I'll put together another video in the next few days. Now onto the topic of my Evo VIII. So my Evo VIII has been going through a lot of changes when I've been in college. I mean, I'm in Colorado and my car's in California. So I have to trust the shop that does all the work on my car, right? So I've had a really hard time finding a shop that I really trust, and I finally found that shop. It's Track Spec Autosports in Fremont. Guys, I'll put the link below, but they're just an incredible shop. The guy who owns the shop, John, he's an extremely knowledgeable guy. He does a lot of high-end cars like Bentley, Lotus, BMW E30s. He restores a lot of those cars. It's just amazing. His shop is pristine. I'll throw a couple of pictures in here, but it's hard to find people that you trust in the car community these days. A lot of shops I dealt with are shady, they're unprofessional, they kind of feel like scammers, they'll put you off, it's really refreshing to find a shop that I can actually trust with my car. So what they're taking care of right now is, I went to the track all last year, I'll put a couple of clips in. I noticed a couple things that I wanted to change about the car, so we're addressing those things right now. A lot of understeer. The car wasn't very balanced in terms of spring rates. I've addressed that. The rear differential was going out, so I addressed that. I'm putting a 4-point TC Designs roll bar in, a bunch of new suspension. It's getting a Voltex wide body rear on the car. It actually just got paint matched today. It's just going to be a monstrous track car by the time it's done. And the cool thing about being in college is you can work on the side, make some money. You're in college, so you're doing working towards your degree. Come home and I have a pretty much track-ready car just sitting there waiting for me to get in and drive it. I love the Evo VIII platform. It's a great platform. It's super reliable. I haven't had any issues with it. Force performance, turbos, I can't say enough good things about them. I'm on an FP green right now, and it's incredible how technology's advanced in the recent years. A lot of people also ask me about E85. E85 is ethanol, flex fuel, corn, however you want to put it. It basically acts as a high octane fuel for very cheap, and it works wonders. You can run more ignition time, you can run more boost. It resists detonation much more because of the higher octane. It's all around just a great fuel. It's a great advancement in modern technology, and even though it's been around for a few years now, it's just incredible. More videos. I hope this video was informative, and thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and stay cool.